Good day, everyone. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Today we're going to deal with the basic topic called accounting equation. So basically, yeah, all you need to know is that equity is equals to assets minus liabilities. Normally, you'd find this in your statement of financial position, also known as your balance sheet, right? So basically, yeah, we're only doing items that affect the balance sheet or the statement of financial position. Okay. So what impacts the statement of profit or loss will also affect the statement of financial position because of any decrease in the profit or an increase in profit will affect the equity account because of the net profit for the year will go to the equity account. So every expense will decrease equity and every income will increase equity, right? So another thing that we need to know, right, is that equity increases on the credit side and decreases on the debit side. So it decreases here. Let me do this rather. After this, everyone will master this topic. You can trust me. So it's gonna decrease on the debit side and increase on the credit side. Asset will increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. Sorry about that. Yeah, and they will decrease on the credit side. And as for liabilities, right? Liabilities will increase on the credit side and decrease on the debit side. Okay. So let's dive into the example. Miss Blue started a small paint business, New Blue Traders, on 1 July 2000. During the month of July, the following transactions took place. So the first transaction that took place is Miss Blue deposited 30,000 in a bank account in the name of the business. So basically, what's going to happen is that what's going to happen to the company. So you must always focus on what happens to the company rather than what happens to the individual. Understand? So this will help us a lot. Okay? So the bank, let me use a different color. The bank will increase. Therefore, the bank is an asset. Therefore, the bank will increase on the debit side with 30,000. Then this will also increase our capital into the business. Therefore, capital is an equity account. Therefore, it will increase. Okay, let's read the second statement now. She obtained a long-term loan of 15,000 from a rich aunt. So therefore, a loan obviously would be a liability, right? So therefore, 15,000 will be credited, right? Because of it increases. And therefore, the debit account would be the bank, because of the bank is going to increase with the 15,000 that is going to be obtained from the bank. Yeah. Basically, the bank account will be greater by 15,000 as the loan will increase the bank account of the company. Let's go on to, this is day one, right? Okay, let's move on to day three. signed a 3-year lease for office premises with an annual rental of 12,000. So therefore, this means that um she paid a deposit of 1,000. Okay, let's do the deposit first. So normally when you pay a deposit, you're gonna get it back at the end of the lease term. So therefore, it is an asset. So your asset is gonna increase by 1,000. And she paid 3 months rent in advance to secure the premises. So the first payment wouldn't be like the 1 month out of the 3 months wouldn't be an advance payment because of she's gonna be in the office for from 1 July. So it will account as rent expense basically. I apologize for the bad handwriting. So the rent expense would be 2,000 because of, let me do a quick calculation for you guys, because of 12,000 multiplied by 1 over 12 is 1,000. So which means 1,000 rent is the monthly payment, right? So 1,000 rent is a monthly payment. So the rent expense is, sorry, the rent expense is 1,000. And the prepaid expense, which is the payment made in advance, is for the 2 months, right? It would be 2,000, and a prepaid expense is an asset. Therefore, an asset, our assets are gonna increase by 2,000. Therefore, our bank, right, would have had an amount of 4,000 outflow, which means our bank would have been credited. Therefore, our assets are going to decrease. The reason why I'm saying 4,000 is because of 3 months was paid, which is 3,000, and the deposit of 1,000 was paid. So therefore, 3,000 plus 1,000 gives us the 4,000, right? Okay, perfect. So, okay, now let's go to the 5th day. Paint. This is a keyword. Paint. Purchased paint for cash, right? So therefore, paint is inventory in the company because of Miss Blue started a small painting business, right? So this is inventory for the company and we paid it cash. Therefore, bank would have been decreased by 2,750 and inventory would have been increased because of now we are adding more stock to our company, right? So we have more trading stock. Therefore, our asset is going to increase. I hope that makes sense. So therefore, let's go on to day 6. Bought office supplies for 750 on account. This would be careful. On account means on credit. On credit. So therefore, no amount was taken out. Okay, so you're gonna have an account of creditors, and we're gonna have bought office supplies. Then we're gonna have an account for office supplies. Therefore, our creditors would have been increased. Therefore, our liabilities will increase by 750. And then our office supplies, which is an asset, is going to increase by 750. I hope that makes sense. Then on day 7, we bought paint on credit. Therefore, from a creditor affects our liabilities for 6,200. So we bought paint on credit, which is inventory. And it was on credit, so our creditors would have been impacted. or they're going to be affected. So inventory of 6,200 and our creditors would have been 6,200. Therefore, our liabilities are going to increase. And we all know that our liabilities increase on the credit side. Yeah, these are the key things that we also have to master, that liabilities increase on the credit side and decreases on the debit side. So therefore, number 8, not number 8 actually, day 8, it says purchased office furniture at an auction. Okay, so for making the screen smaller, I just want to make it to you properly. Okay, all right. Purchased office furniture at an auction for 3,300 rands. Okay. So day 8, we purchased furniture and we purchased for cash. So basically our bank is going to get affected. So therefore furniture would be increased, which is an asset for 3,300. And our bank would be credited basically. So therefore, a decrease in our bank of 3,300. Therefore, on day 9, we sold paint, right? We sold paint for 800 to Mr. Fix. Okay, this is going to be quite a long journal. Therefore, we have to do it on a separate place. Okay, day 10. Sold paint of 800 to Mr. Fix with a cost price of 600. So, okay, this is not a B, this is a 10. We sold paint of 800. So therefore, sales, we know for cash, bank is affected. Sales increases, our equity increases, our profit increases, our bank increases, which is an asset. Then our cost of sales and our inventory will increase. Our inventory will increase basically. Our inventory will decrease, sorry, by 600. Then our cost of sales would decrease and our profits will decrease because of this cost of sales. Therefore, it is on the debit side, and therefore equity decreases on the debit side, as we have noted here on the top. Okay, let's move on to day 15. Purchased a second-hand delivery vehicle from Trusty Motors Ltd for 7.5. So basically for 7,500. And we paid 1,650 as a deposit. So a deposit normally you paid cash. You can't pay a deposit through finance at most times. So we assume that our bank has decreased by 1,650. And the remainder of the money has to be paid in 3 equal installments. So therefore, we have a creditor now because of we have to pay someone money in the long term. So which is going to be 7.5 minus 1,650, which is equivalent to 5,850. Therefore, we have a liability of 5,850. Therefore, our liabilities would have been credited by 5,850. Liabilities basically going to increase by 5,850. Therefore, and we have a vehicle now, which is an asset. So We have a delivery vehicle of 7.5 because of this is the cost price of the vehicle. So basically, this is how you do an accounting equation. So all you have to know is that for equity, I'm reminding you this because of these are the crust of an accounting equation. All you have to know is that equity is equals to assets minus liabilities. And equity increases on the credit side and decreases on the debit side. Assets increases on the debit side and they decrease on the credit side. So where there's a negative, it would be on the credit and on the debit for equity. Liabilities increase on the credit side and decrease on the debit side. So therefore, there's only one account where it decreases on the credit side, which is an asset, and increases on the debit side. So basically, with equity, you know that we debit expenses and we credit income, plus all shares that we have acquired, right? Plus any capital investment. So yes, basically that's it. I hope this is beneficial to you so that you can pass your upcoming test and assessment. Good luck. See you next time.